that was a good race. That was a really, really good race. And even though I didn't get to see the Spurs game last night, that was also a fun game. So we're going to talk about both the Richmond race weekend and last night's Spurs-Suns game that I didn't get to watch. So we're going to start with the Richmond International Raceway. La reina de la noche, la diosa de voodoo. Yesterday, we got another win with John Hunter in the Wreck-A-Mall Derby. Wreckfest 250. It was like, based on what I was reading on Twitter, I was out with my dad all day and night. It seemed like every time they go 3 laps after a restart, they'd be crashing into the wall or each other. And I also heard about the 2 bozos in the back who wrecked each other for fucking last place. Like, who the hell does that in the sport of NASCAR? Regardless if it's the Craftsman Truck Series, the Busch Series, or the Winston Cup Series. Like, who does that shit? You wreck for Tail on Charlie or something like that? I don't know what the hell that terminology was called back in the day. But if anything, I just don't remember. Like, I remember hearing it a lot as a kid. But either way, we got another win with John Hunter. And the next truck race won't be till Kansas on Lizzie Green's Bobby Labonte 18th birthday. Now, keep in mind, I just want to warn y'all, like Ward Burton, it depends on who wins that truck race. If John Hunter, Zane Smith, or Haley Deegan, one of those 3 drivers end up winning that race, I'm going to be broadcasting a Lizzie Green post-race birthday after party. We'll probably be doing dancing and singing to some Ricky Martin to celebrate. Who knows? I don't even know if the Spurs play that same day. And if they do and they end up winning the game that night, I'll have to double check because I'm not quite sure. But yeah, they play up. I'm going to miss the last 2 Spurs games of the season. I had taken them to think because I'll be at the Hall of Fame induction for Tim Duncan May 15th, which means I'll miss all the Dover races. I just wanted to warn you, like Ward Burton. But regardless if there's a Spurs game or not, I know a truck race is going to be May 1st. Lizzie Green's Bobby Labonte 18th birthday. If John Hunter, Zane, or Haley win, expect a post-race birthday a Lizzie Green post-race birthday after party to celebrate her Bobby Labonte 18th. You'll see it. If I can't do it on YouTube, I might as well do it on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, whatever. But I'll try to make it happen on YouTube for sure. So, the truck race was basically the Wreckfest 250 yesterday. So, like I said, John Hunter wins. Hell yeah. Yeah, he's probably going to win the Craftsman Truck Series Championship this year, too. NEMECHEK fan or not, we can call him NEMECHAMP. NEMECHAMP. All right, let's focus on Cup now. That was actually a really, really good race. And I think, like I said, the last time we were at Richmond was in the chase for the Monte Carlo 400 on my very best friend, Brinley Kerr's Matt Kenseth's 17th birthday. It's not always have to be about 20 cautions, dozens of wrecks, and an upset winner, whether it be someone who has never won before, someone who doesn't win all that often, or someone who hasn't won in a long time, to have a good race. I mean, there were battles all over the track, whether they were on camera or off camera. I mean, we had action in the pit lane, because we, green flag pit stops, and of course we had a little semi-big amount of drama with Austin Cindric trying to fit in with his Penske teammates, like dumping Ryan Newman in the middle of green flag pit stops. So that was a blessing in disguise, because that was Austin, the better Austin. Now Dillon, that was actually his friend, because he had dropped back as low as 16th at one point, and that caution really helped him and my dad's driver, Daniel Suarez, the 99 car, trying to pick up where Jeff Burton and Carl Edwards left off. So I really hope Suarez can actually win a race this year, just to see the happiness my father would get in the party he and his fiance would be throwing at their house. If he had a YouTube channel, I'm pretty sure he would record that shit and put it out there for you guys to see. Then blasting some Pitbull, Ricky Martin, and Puerto Rican power, because my dad is the reason why I'm a huge fan. Latino's my favorite kind of music. And my mom is the reason why smooth jazz is my favorite, because we discovered, like Todd Bodine, smooth jazz Z98.7 when we lived in the Lenore house in Michigan. And whenever we came up to Ohio during that time to visit family, I heard about, the Ohio's version. 107.3, no way. And for those of you who don't know the V98.7 jingle, because I did have YouTube back in the day when that channel was on. Smooth jazz. Oh, V98.7. I miss those stations so much. It was really stupid, to get rid of them to begin with. V98.7 and the Wave in '09, which was the first time for the Wave. But then at least they did the right thing. Like, we're smart enough to bring it back in 2012. But I didn't figure that out till the late part of 2012. Like, people complained, I guess. So therefore they brought it back. But it caught me by surprise in how I figured it out that it was back. I was usually the first one up for school. Like, first one up to get ready for school when I lived in Brook Park in the Sandhurst house. And I was just eating my breakfast. I was eating Golden Oreos. I was half asleep, trying to stay awake. Drink the milk, eat the breakfast. And then my mom and dad used to have an alarm clock to wake them up for work, where they would, I can't remember, was my mom, no, because usually my dad would sometimes be the first one up, and sometimes my mom. And so, therefore, it was like rotating back and forth, even though they weren't trying to do that. This was, and since I think the 12-13 season when I was a senior in high school, the cursed NBA season for the Spurs. Yeah, they used to set their alarm clock instead of ringing or, to get them up. Like, they would use the radio. Like, it was a coincidence when their radio alarm went off. I heard the 107.3 The Wave jingle. At first I'm like, wait a minute, how did they get the 107.3 The Wave jingle to be their alarm clock? But then I figured out that the shit was back. So I got to sleep to that again because when V98.7 went away in '09, right before I left Michigan and came back to Ohio to take over the Sandhurst house in Brook Park for my grandparents, I was sleeping at Q1, not Q104, 100.3 WNIC went away around that time too. So basically I just slept to custom CDs. I basically went back to my childhood roots of the Monsters Inc. Score CD, musical pieces from some of the scenes from that movie that had a CD of, when V98.7 was around, I used to hate Legends of Jazz. And I just never was into classical jazz. I was more into modern jazz. So I would either keep the radio off till midnight, because that's when it would come to an end. I mean, nothing against Ramsey Lewis. He was a great guy. He is a great guy, but I just hated his show. And I would either sleep with no music until midnight so we could turn the radio back on for the real jazz, or sleep to the Monsters Inc. CD until midnight. So, yeah. But later years I started sleeping to 100.3 WNIC. I started getting bored of V98.7 because they were starting to jump the shark and go downhill with, shitty covers of classical soul, soul and R&B soul songs they were playing. Soul Motown songs. They used to play a combine of original smooth jazz songs and old soul and Motown songs. But then they started playing shitty jazz covers of those old soul Motown songs, Some of them were good. Like Michael McDonald's version of Ain't No Mountain High Enough is better than Marvin Gaye's. And even they played the old Marvin Gaye one on its 107.3 The Wave, And then when they went away at the same time, it was like they probably were affiliated with each other in Michigan or Ohio, or have a lot of similarities between the two as states, you know what I'm saying? But then, when they played Christmas music on the Wave in 2019, which is something they normally do, you would think that after Christmas Day, they would go back to jazz, the regular music, like they did in 2012, 2013, and even 13, 14, but nope, it all went away again. They were that stupid to take V98.7 away once. Not like it matters, because even if they brought it back tomorrow or something, it wouldn't matter because I'm not there anymore. But it was stupid to even more stupid to get rid of the Wave, not once but twice. I miss those jazz stations so much. If it wasn't Ricky Martin or any kind of Latino or Spanish music, it's always smooth jazz. But I'm getting off topic, so let's talk about the race, the Winston Cup. I mean, people were bitching on Twitter saying that it was a boring race just because up to 12th was on the lead lap, but who gives a shit? I mean, the same thing happened at the Pontiac, the Monte Carlo Fortin last year on Brindley's birthday, and yet nobody bitched then. Nobody what was fine for them about the Monte Carlo 400 last year, having multiple people a lap or more down up to 12 plays, but yet today for the excitement 400 for Pontiac race, they bitch up a storm for the same damn thing. I mean, it's like they can't make up their mind. I didn't even bitch about either one of them. I thought they were both good. The Monte Carlo 400 last year and the Pontiac Excitement 400 today. All that matters is Austin got a top 10. The racing was good. We didn't have to rely on 20 cautions, dozens of crashes, and an upset winner, to have a good race. And that imposter and Brett Bodine's number took another L because he choked it up like Chuck Woolery again, which is something that he's the best at, which is why he has never won a Winston Cup championship, and hopefully he never does. So, and it was beautiful to see Harvick wreck in the same race too. So, this is probably one of the best days ever. And then we had the Pontiac Excitement pre-race show next door. The pictures you'll be seeing on my Instagram and Facebook after I'm done after this video's up. But yeah, what an incredible race that was. So now let's talk about Bang Bang Tito Puente from last night. So I didn't get to watch because I was with my dad, as everybody knows, which is the same reason why I wasn't able to watch Nickelodeon Saturday night. But sometimes a change of scenery is good. I didn't need Nickelodeon Saturday night to make my weekend a good one. Sometimes you got to try different things, like as events-wise, to make a good weekend. Make a good weekend work. So, therefore, at first I said I was glad I wasn't watching because I thought we were going to take an L. And the Spurs were going to take an L. And it's like every time I expect them to lose, they always blow the other team out and kick their asses. Without Lone Star DeMar, without Jakob. I mean, Rudy was playing and he's been inconsistent. But if I was watching last night, he would have shut me up again. Because he actually scored 19 points for Jeremy Mayfield. And Living La Vida Lucas Salmonich, who got to start with Drew Eubanks, the Twin Towers 2.0. I mean, Drew had 2 career nights in a row. The first one went to waste, but this one actually was actually worth it because we won. And he really improved, and he knows how to fuck him up like Fabricio Oberto. So, Luca's getting better, so therefore, I know he's scoreless, but he's still learning. He went scoreless, but he's still learning. But this is why you play young Nevo, Devin Vassell. He's way better than Devin. He'll always be 5,000 times more the player than Devin Booker will be any day, because Vassell is a better player in his pinky than Booker is in his entire body. And those Suns commentators were livid la vida loca. So if I would have just gotten them by default, not had the choice between them and Dillon Sean, I would have been mad, but at the same time would have been glad to hear him get pissed off and shit. The Pacers don't have shitty commentators. The cheating McDouchebags do. The Cleveland does. I used to hate back when the Cavs were good, during my early years here living in Ridgeville, I used to hate their fans more than the team itself because they were always so toxic. And even people I knew personally, whether it be family or friends or neighbors, because I was on an island by myself as the lone non-Cavs fan living in Ohio, San Antonio Spurs, Tim Duncan, when he was still playing, towards the last 2 years of his career. But now that they suck again, they're quiet now. They're not as toxic as before. And that Kaminsky guy is a fucking bitch. Gorgie Dang is not going to take any shit, getting the ball thrown at him, And I can understand the double technicals, but why did Gorgie get 2 when there was 15, 20 seconds left in the game, and the game was over anyway, and not like it matters, he could just walk straight to the locker room, and then 20 seconds later, his teammates will be right there, so the ejection was kind of pointless anyway. So, but hey, I wasn't watching, it is what it is, so I'll take it, I guess. But Gorgie is a freak of nature on the rebound. He'll eat the rebound up and annihilate him like AKANA, just like Spurs did to the Suns. So yeah, fun game all around. Trey Jones got minutes. This is why you play the young guns. I love Patty, but like I said in my other video when I was talking about the Portland game, stinking up the joint like Terry Labonte, I hate him at the same time. He started off really good, but Father Time is starting to catch up to him, and it shows. I wish he would take the week off, Rudy Gay, same thing whenever he's not playing good, because, you know, the other last game he was stinking up the joint like Terry Labonte, and then the Phoenix game, guess what? He was shooting the lights out. This was the same thing with LaMarcus this year. Like, you know, one game LaMarcus was doing really good and kicking ass. The next game he was like bitching up the joint like Bryn Forbes, you know. Kind of like how Denny Hamlin choked up the joint like Chuck Woolery today. So, or Dennis, or that imposter, and Brett Bodine's number, you fucking name it, bitch. So, the Spurs play the Pacers in Indy tomorrow. So, I will see you all for that. And the next NASCAR race is the Talladega Aaron's Dream Weekend. The Aaron's 312 Xfinity race on Saturday. You know, Ty Dillon's in it. Maybe he'll have, this time, actually get a good finish. Missed, hopefully, like he's done in the Cup Series in the old number 13 Geico Chevy in years past. Missed a big one and maybe get a win. And the next day, the Aaron's 499 Winston Cup race at the Talladega Super Speedway, home of the big one. Have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Good night, and fuck Denny Hamlin.